Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So we are back with another Island House video. We are on chapter 3. So enough chit chat, let's get started. Charlotte waited another 60 seconds after the front door closed before she left the safety of the bathroom on the first floor. And it wasn't all that safe, as Dawson had clearly been using it. The scent of his cologne and aftershave hung in the air, and she'd been surprised at how neat he was. One bath towel hanging on a hook, one washcloth folded over the rack by the sink, toothbrush, razor, deodorant, and shaving cream lined up inside the drawer. Lined up. His action spoke of someone in the military, and she wondered if his helicopter piloting was a second career. With the gray in his sideburns and beard, he had to be in his 40s, didn't he? Honestly, why do you care? Charlotte left the bathroom door open and went down the hall to the kitchen and dining room. The space was a little segmented, but the house was older, so she expected that. The house was a great big box with a few bay windows that jutted out, but there were 2 bedrooms on this level, tucked away into the front and back corners. But the bathroom near them both, across the hall from that, was the living room, boasting those huge windows that overlooked the bay, with a wraparound deck that had access from all the bedrooms, the living room, and the kitchen. Charlotte thought she had spent more time on that deck than anywhere else, and the living room had high ceilings with exposed beams that made the place airy and comfortable. The dining room was functional, and if she were back in South Carolina, where she entertained fragrantly, she'd want the wall between the living room and dining room to come down. Then she could have one big open area that flowed from kitchen to deck to living room, so she could enjoy the party and her guests while she finished a tray of canopies. Of how different her life was now, as evidenced by the sloppy sound of her shoes as she stepped into the water still on the kitchen floor. Pure exhaustion pulled through her, but she couldn't just leave water on the floor, could she? Her proper southern breeding wouldn't allow it, though her mind screamed at her that Dawson obviously had left the water for her to deal with. She opened one door and then another, one before she found a broom and a mop. She started soaking up the water. With that done, she returned to the front foyer, where a paper towel with purple numbers on it sat on the table there. She'd heard him say he had to go to work, and she let him go. "You can't really be considering letting him stay here," she said to her reflection in the crusty mirror beside the front door. The room to her left was a small office, with empty built-in bookshelves and a desk with nothing on it. To her right was a formal living room with a piano that looked gray from all the dust on it, and a small love seat that had seen a billion better days. The steps leading to the second floor went straight up from the front door, and she tested her weight on the first one. The wood creaked but held, and she went up, to see what awaited her in this dilapidated house she bought. 3 more bedrooms up here, 2 on the front of the house and 1 on the back, with 2 bathrooms and a massive multiple-purpose room, which at the moment only held a pool table, huge windows, great views. In Charlotte's mind, she could see this place as it should be, with fresh plants in each room, happy laughter, and a yard with trees, grass, benches, and bushes. As she looked down from the window on the second floor, she could see where the yard had once been defined. But the wild grasses and years of the neglect had taken over, leaving behind what resembled a jungle more than anything. It mirrored how she felt inside, actually. Years of neglect, years of thinking certain things were important, only to find out they weren't. Years invested into a man and a marriage wasted. Yes, she felt very wild and jilly on the inside. juggly on the inside, and she hoped it would be as easy to straighten up her life as it would be to rip out overgrown bushes, cut back unwanted trees, and pull out the weeds in the yard. That was all Hunter was, a weed she removed from her life. Well, technically he removed himself, but Charlotte didn't need to get technical. She opened the window on the second floor and took in another breath of the salty air. Oh yes, she could put her life back together, one piece at a time. Well, she did the same thing for this house. They could both get a second chance. What about Dawson? The thought annoyed her, but she couldn't brush it away. He doesn't own this house. He has no right to stay here. But there had been something desperate in his expression when he'd asked. And if there was anyone who understood what it was like to be desperate, it was Charlotte. Her stomach growled, and she decided she made her decision about Dawson when she saw what he stocked his fridge with.